When George Karl goes live and calls out LeBron James and Kevin Durant, he doesn't hold back. You wouldn't survive our era. Now the NBA world is split in half, and this old school versus new school war just turned personal.
Get into what he had to say here. The article says his former Nuggets coach George Karl continued his trademark criticism of the Los Angeles Lakers on social media last night, launching a series of tweets against LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the historic franchise. Tired of the constant media takes on the Cowboys and the Lakers, both organizations are barely relevant. They get so much coverage because they are highly valued with large fan bases, not because they are championship contending teams! Exclamation.
George Karl strongly criticized LeBron James and Kevin Durant in one of the harshest callouts basketball has seen in years. The internet quickly exploded with reactions. Karl didn't hold back. He said that today's superstars wouldn't survive even one season playing in his era of basketball. This all started after LeBron and KD were reportedly caught on a hot mic making jokes about Karl at a private event in early 2025. When Karl heard about it, he responded publicly on social media and fired back hard. Karl, a Hall of Fame coach who worked with legends like Gary Payton and Carmelo Anthony, basically said that modern NBA stars are too soft for the physical, tough style of basketball from his time. The big question now is, what exactly was said behind closed doors? Why did Karl react so strongly? And how did LeBron and Durant respond after being called out like that? This story has a lot of drama, and it keeps getting deeper.
I think most people know that today's player is totally different than the player I started coaching in the 70s and 80s. The game has become entertainment and business more than going to the gym and kicking somebody's butt and enjoying competition. And the spirit of the game, I think, has really changed a great deal. And along with our society,
It's January 20th, 2025. An invite-only basketball charity event brings together some of the most powerful names in the sport. Top players, respected coaches, analysts, and media insiders, all in one room. Events like this are usually relaxed. No cameras, no media drama, just people networking and celebrating the game away from the spotlight. But this time, security slipped up. During a break between speeches, someone managed to record audio inside the room. That's when LeBron James and Kevin Durant were caught in what they believed was a private conversation. The recording isn't crystal clear, but the message is obvious. They're heard laughing and talking about old school coaches. Then George Karl's name comes up. One of them jokes that Karl's old school coaching style wouldn't survive in today's NBA. What was supposed to be a quiet, off-the-record moment suddenly turned into something much bigger. The other one adds another joke, saying that back in the day, coaches just let players beat each other up and called it defense. Then comes the moment that changes everything. Both LeBron James and Kevin Durant laugh when George Karl is described as a coach stuck in the past, someone who can't accept that the game has moved on. There's no filter, no holding back, just jokes. Within hours, the audio leaks onto Twitter. Not through big outlets like ESPN or Bleacher Report, just a random account with around 3,000 followers that happen to post it at the right time. And once it's out, it spreads fast. The clip blows up, retweets everywhere. Hot takes fill timelines. Fans immediately choose sides. Supporters of LeBron and KD argue it was just a private conversation. They say everyone jokes behind closed doors, but old school fans are furious. Comments start pouring in. These guys have never faced real defense and want to talk about George Karl. Karl coached in an era where you got punched in the face and the ref told you to keep playing. In less than 24 hours, the clip racks up millions of views. Sports media scrambles to react, and then something happens that shocks everyone. After the clip goes viral, LeBron James and Kevin Durant stay completely silent in no tweets. No Instagram stories. No interviews. No damage control. Nothing. Meanwhile, George Karl sees it all. He hears the jokes. He reads the comments. He watches people question his era, his style, and his impact on the game. And he's not the type to just sit back while his legacy gets dragged. But before he responds, you have to understand why this cuts so deep. Karl didn't just coach in another era. He built his career in one of the most physical, demanding periods in NBA history. Back then, defense was rough. Games were gritty. There were no easy drives to the rim. You earned everything that he coached through battles, rivalries, and playoff wars. He worked with strong personalities and helped shape all-stars and Hall of Fame talents. To him, that era wasn't outdated. It was foundational. When two of today's biggest stars laugh and suggest he couldn't survive in modern basketball, it's not just a joke. Karl. It feels like disrespect.
Pretty well dominating. They're committed to it, I guess is the best way to phrase it. But I think coaches that want to play fast, players, it's easy to get a buy-in on it. And the whole thing, again, is what I think in today's game, there's limited time. So as a coach, we got to communicate better to the time that we have them. And so
George Karl isn't just some random retired coach. He spent decades in the middle of professional basketball's toughest battles. He coached during the rough, physical 90s and early 2000s, a time when hard fouls were normal and nobody expected an easy night. His teams weren't just good. They were tough. Players like Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, and Carmelo Anthony weren't soft. They thrived in Karl's system because it demanded toughness, discipline, and the ability to get knocked down and keep going. When Karl hears LeBron James and Kevin Durant laughing about his era and acting like his accomplishments don't matter, it becomes personal. 2 days after the audio leaks, Karl sends his first warning shot. Just one tweet. Funny how the loudest voices have never bled for this game. Check back with me when you've survived a playoff series without load management. Short, sharp, ruthless. Fans immediately break it down. Bled for this game sounds like a jab at today's softer style. Load management is clearly aimed at modern rest culture, and it's stars like LeBron and KD who have both missed regular season games to stay fresh. Sports analysts jump into debate mode. Is Karl going to keep pushing? Will LeBron respond? Will KD fire back? The tension builds. Then, 3 days later, Karl goes all in. He posts a long Instagram statement. Not a simple caption, not a throwback picture. This is a full message aimed directly at LeBron James and Kevin Durant. Karl writes, "I've been quiet for a long time. I've watched the game change. I've watched the rules soften." George Karl doesn't hold back in his full statement that he says he's watched the game change. He's watched rules get softer. He's watched superstars get protected like they're made of glass. And he claims he stayed quiet out of respect for how basketball has evolved. But disrespect, he says, that's where I draw the line. Then he turns directly toward LeBron James and Kevin Durant. You want to mock my era? Laugh about coaches who demanded toughness? Let me be clear. You wouldn't survive one practice with my teams. Not one. He doubles down. He talks about the physical play, the mental battles, the no excuses mindset. He says they would fold under that pressure, and deep down, you know it? Karl makes it clear he respects their talent and achievements. But then he delivers the line that really stings. Don't confuse success in a soft era with dominance in a real one. He says his players didn't rest 20 games a season. They didn't choose their teammates. They didn't complain to referees every time they got touched. They played through injuries. They fought through adversity. And, according to him, they respected the legends who came before them. Then comes the final shot. You wouldn't survive our era. And that's not an opinion. It's a fact. After that, the basketball world doesn't just react. It explodes. 4 days, social media is on fire. Debate shows argue nonstop. Old school versus new school becomes the hottest topic in the sport. AT first, LeBron and KD stay quiet. And that silence only makes things worse. Fans on both sides grow restless. Is this going to be one-sided? Are LeBron and KD just going to ignore George Karl and pretend none of this matters? The tension keeps building. LeBron James finally responds, but not with an interview or a long statement. He posts an Instagram story. It's a simple photo of his 4 NBA championship rings with one short caption. Results speak louder than words. No names, no direct shots, but everyone understands who it's aimed at. The message is clear: 4-time champion. Finals MVP, one of the greatest ever. And a quiet detail that fans immediately point out? George Karl never won an NBA championship. That LeBron doesn't say it, but he doesn't have to. His supporters flood social media. Karl couldn't win a ring and wants to talk about surviving eras. LeBron has more finals MVPs than Karl has championships. Sit down. But old school fans hit back just as hard. Rings don't make you tough. This ring culture is exactly why the modern NBA is soft. Then the extreme takes start flying. Put LeBron in the 90s against the bad boy Pistons and watch him cry to the refs. Now Kevin Durant jumps in, and KD doesn't do subtle that he goes straight to Twitter. Old coaches stay bitter because the game passed them by. Adapt or stay irrelevant. Minutes later, we didn't mock you, George. We stated facts. Your era had different rules. Ours is more skilled, more strategic, and way more entertaining. Then the final shot. And by the way, if your coaching was so great, where's your ring? No filter. FullSmoke.KD keeps tweeting. He starts liking posts from fans backing him up. Meanwhile, LeBron reposts a highlight reel of modern NBA offense breaking down defenses with the caption, "This is basketball, not street fighting." At this point, it's no longer just a disagreement. It turns into a generational war. Younger fans defend speed, spacing, three-point shooting, and skill. Older fans defend physical defense, intimidation, and mental toughness from the 90s and early 2000s that major outlets like ESPN and Fox Sports run nonstop segments. Analysts are forced to choose sides. Some defend LeBron and KD, pointing to their talent, longevity, and championships. Others back Karl, arguing that rule changes and star protection make today's game easier. Just when it feels like the drama has peaked, George Karl steps back in. Late January 2025, he agrees to an exclusive interview, not with a major network, but on a popular basketball podcast known for letting guests speak freely. He knows exactly what he's doing. The host asks directly, "George, LeBron and KD have responded. What do you say to them?" Karl doesn't hesitate. "First of all, I don't care about Instagram stories or Twitter rants. That's noise. What I care about is the truth." Then he drops the bomb. "The modern NBA is choreographed entertainment. It's not the same game I coached in. That's not necessarily bad, but don't pretend it's tougher or more competitive than what we had." He says LeBron and KD are incredibly talented, but claims they've had every advantage that travel is easier. Rest days are built in. Rules protect stars from physical defense. And players can recruit teammates to build super teams. "You think my players had that luxury?" he asks. "You think Gary Payton got to call up other all-stars and form a big three?" The host pushes back. "But isn't the game more skilled now? The shooting, the handles, the creativity?" Karl leans forward. Skill doesn't equal toughness. He says today's players can shoot from anywhere and dribble through traffic, but put them in a playoff game with hand-checking allowed, hard fouls unpunished, and trash talk everywhere. "I don't think so," Karl says calmly. "I think they complain. If you want more breakdowns of the wildest drama in basketball, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next, and drop your take in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.